Welcome to another daily dose of doom. Never scripted, just news and opinion.
More than 50 U.S. Intelligence agents have come out and made some pretty wild allegations that the Obama administration has taken their intelligence reports, doctored and altered them so it paints a different picture and it reflects well on the president's efforts against the alleged terrorist group ISIS. Now, they specifically went out of their way to state that they're not saying these things against the Obama administration to further their careers, but rather, as one of the operatives involved said, the cancer was within the senior level of command, revealing how high this conspiracy of competence goes. The allegations, it appears, are so serious that the Inspector General has been investigating these intelligence agents' claims. This followed the submission of a formal written complaint by two veteran analysts at a U.S. Central Command in July, prompting the Department of Defense to look further into the matter. What at first appeared to be a spectacular fire in Chicago at the iconic John Hancock Center, well, it turns out to be nothing more than an accidental fire started on the 50th floor by a woman. I do believe this was the residential section of the building. And the fire broke out in the unit's bedroom, which faced the east side of the building. The woman escaped unharmed. All residents of the 50th floor have been displaced, a fire official said. 5 people sustained minor injuries in that fire that broke out at this building. You know, FBI officials are saying that they're taking a report about a threat from ISIS seriously that could be coming to the Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Let me tell you something. Ever since I saw the Bilderberger group meeting last year and who was on the invitation list, only one mayor out of all of the United States, that's right, the mayor from Atlanta, Georgia, right? And then we had the secret little rendezvous between Joe Biden, the mayor of Baltimore, Maryland, the one in South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia. They all went down on a little trip to the Panama Canal, and they claimed it all had to do with about ports, right? We're about destitute economically, so to speak, and yet we can really plan on all of this port activity. And they're going to go down to the Panama Canal, yet all of this stuff happens around these cities that these people seem to be involved in. You had the riot over in Baltimore, Maryland. You had the train crash over there in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Some other nefarious stuff going on out there at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And now we have this one in Atlanta, Georgia, with the mayor who just so happened to attend the Bilderberger meeting last year and the only mayor to do so. Senator Harry Reid is under investigation out of the state of Utah, but the Department of Justice of the United States is trying to thwart any attempt by the investigators in Utah to obtain any kind of documents when it relates to Harry Reid. There was an indictment of a St. George businessman, Jeremy Johnson, who said Utah Attorney General John Swallow arranged a bribe that was meant for Nevada Senator Harry Reid, where this bribe was to get him out of trouble and to stop a federal investigation into Johnson's nefarious activity. The allegation got little traction because they came from an indicted businessman and they were aimed at the then majority leader of the United States Senate. Now, that was 3 years ago. And this has started a landslide of allegations forcing John Swallow to resign. And now Utah is picking up an investigation against Harry Reid, but the Department of Justice is doing everything to block their attempts at investing this case at a federal level. Here's a story from Wednesday that I didn't even report on because it was so goofy. Chicago police are claiming that a van with temporary plates came up alongside of them, and a couple of occupants, bearded men, had stated that they were with ISIS. Well, then they took off. Why exactly would you come up and just pull up alongside cops and just say something ridiculous like that, knowing that they're going to chase you? That's exactly what the Chicago police are claiming, that they chased them, but, we couldn't catch them. But the police are telling the public not to worry. It was probably a hoax. Yeah, I wonder exactly who the hoax was perpetrated by. Here's another story that I'm calling absolute bullshit. Bullshit. Salem, Utah, 9th grade class asked to draw Islamic State propaganda posters. Also, to type the words "how to recruit for ISIS" into Google as part of an assignment. Oh, really? Oh, really? And one of the students' parents, the mother, I feel a different assignment or report could have been chosen, or a discussion in class. Okay. So the teacher calls the parent to apologize and informed her the assignment had been canceled. Yeah, you're right. Oh, but now it's gained national attention. Well, at least you would think so, right? Especially considering the events that just took place in Paris, you think that this would gain some kind of national traction, right? And that's exactly what they want. But for what? It's to plant the seed of fear into the American public. Now you got people doing just the stupidest things to send messages the way that they do. Military pilots that have been returning from duty in Iraq and allegedly fighting against the Islamic State are making claims that they have been blocked from 75% of the ISIS strikes. And when a Pentagon official was questioned about this and the statement was addressed, that this official defended the Obama administration's policy and said that the military is furiously working to prevent civilian casualties. He states, "The bottom line is that we will not stoop to the level of our enemy and put civilians more in harm's way than absolutely necessary." Oh, that's got to be a first. Well, what about Afghanistan and the last hospital? What about all the other stuff that you've done, right? Yeah, sure. Okay, I'm buying this for $1. Now, here's a pretty intriguing story from Haaretz.com. There are 10 Jewish groups that are urging Congress to allow Syrian refugees into the U.S. 10 Jewish groups have sent a letter to Congress members on Tuesday urging them not to roll back plans to accept Syrian refugees. One of these Jewish religious groups just so happens to be the same group that I already did a story on my backup channel. Is this the wizard behind the curtain? Yes. Do you know who that is that I'm talking about? What was his name? Malcolm Hoenlein, right? It's the exact same Jewish group that I was investigating having something to do with Sandy Hook. And now they appear. It's not odd. It's not out of the ordinary because this is a really huge Jewish group. But the story really is they're really writing Congress and, hey, don't stop the Syrian refugees from coming in. Is that right? Okay. Home to the European headquarters and the NATO alliance, Brussels, Belgium has gone on hunker down mode after they claimed that they have received viable Paris-style type attacks. The U.S. Embassy in Belgium has urged Americans in the country to shelter in place and remain at home. There is a 72-hour travel restriction for U.S. military personnel on travel to Brussels. Members of Ukrainian police and some journalists have posted on social media that there were explosions in the city of Chaplinka and in the Kherson region, where power transmission towers supporting lines delivering energy to Crimea from the Ukraine were located. Now, they claim that there was some kind of sabotage, and this happened early Friday, and it damaged 2 of the 4 electricity transmission towers in Kherson, prompting Crimean authorities to issue warnings of possible power cuts. Now, 1.9 million people in Crimea are partly or fully without power. There were Ukrainian repair crews that attempted to reach the site to make repairs, so they claim, but they were blocked by Crimean Tatar activists and right sector militants who were proclaiming they were taking the area under protection due to the sabotage that had taken place. I have been asked, what side of the fence are you on, Doom, when it comes to the Paris attacks? And let me tell you something. I've looked at a lot of the evidence, and there was a lot of hoaxery going on in 9/11, a lot of hoaxery, and there was a lot of death, right? And we know who was behind it. And there was an exercise that was taking place at the same time that covered the exact same events that took place, right? People died. but there was hoaxery going on. Paris, did people really die? That has been one of the questions. It's been like, the Bataclan, it's like crazy to me. Did people really die there? Was it fake? Do we really believe that some kind of a musical group from California would be involved in that? Are they involved? I don't know all of the information. I don't. So the answer to this, because Paris had an exercise, just like the United States did on 9/11, just like LAX, just like all the other hoaxes that we've seen take place, and there was an exercise going on at the same time. And the same thing goes on when there's a false flag. There seems to be some kind of exercise going on at the same time, and with hoaxery mixed in. So I'm on the fence going, you know what? I can't lean towards full hoax, and I can't lean towards all the way false flag. Now, who would be involved in it? Who is it? ISIS? Really? We're going to say it was ISIS, huh? Okay. Not. But anyway, that's what makes me think right here that this is a bunch of BS. A subsect of Anonymous fighting against ISIS in some kind of cyber war and Twitter attacks called Op Paris Intel says on Saturday in a statement that we have uncovered information about imminent terrorist attacks on Paris and the world, scheduled for tomorrow, the 22nd. All the proof that they have accumulated, they've submitted to official authorities all around the globe days ago. They have it, and it is their responsibility to do something with it. But because they have done nothing or anything with it, yet it's almost the 22nd, we have taken matters into our own hands. We only take the responsibility of warning civilians. Well, let me tell you something. If you haven't been paying attention to the authorities around the globe for the past quite a few years, it should have been your responsibility to come out with this information days ago to the public. We have social medias all day long. So all of it, you're just coming out with the statement yesterday. I'm supposed to buy all this. I don't. I really don't. And of course, I don't buy all the whole ISIS crap about the attacks going around. There could be attacks, but I guarantee you it ain't going to be from no group named ISIS. Here's another story that I never got to report on, but other people have, so you most likely know all the details regarding the Black Knight Decoded, a Pepsi production that, well, it was placed on the Pepsi YouTube channel. And if you check it out, it's all about the Black Knight satellite, or whatever that is, that has been hovering above us. And it's alleged to have been there for about 12 to 13,000 years. How exactly we've come to the conclusion that it's that old, I don't know. Did someone go up there and take some kind of carbon dating process or something that I don't know about? Did Nikola Tesla really discover some black night? That's what it says there? I don't know. I've never really delved deep into the story about the Black Knight satellite. However, I did find some of the things that were stated in this production pretty interesting. Not so much any signs of any kind of symbolism that I saw, but I only watched it one time. It does warrant further analysis due to, talking about if you want us to come back, we, just let on the next full moon and blah, blah, blah. And we check that out. But it does indeed deserve further analysis. Check it out. Links in the description box. Well, a message was being sent in the popular show Scandal on ABC that even the slumbering masses couldn't even ignore. There is a scene in one of the latest episodes here that the female main character is having an abortion, and you can hear the voice and music playing in the background, and the voice states that family does not complete you. It destroys you. Well, if they wanted to accomplish this shock to everyone, they have accomplished their mission. Well, that's the whole thing about this, is that how is it going to play out? Shonda Rhimes, the writer, is going to, I apologize, that's not what I meant. But see, the bell has already been rung. That's the whole thing about this. It's to shock the senses of the people, and they've accomplished exactly what they wanted to do.